All right, guys, welcome to another episode of the Ignite Initiative. I have a really good friend on, Jay, and we met at my gym, and welcome, Jay. We'll get more into it.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. Appreciate that.
Of course.
Yeah.
It'll be hard to keep a straight face in this podcast.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough for both of us, I think.
Yeah, without a doubt. But yeah, so, just a little backstory. So when we first met, I was, I think it was 2020 or 2019. 2019?
It was, I think it was like right as we were in the middle of COVID or coming out of it, maybe.
Yeah.
So
and I was definitely still coaching.
Yeah.
And I know I remember taking your consult, and
yeah.
I remember
right in this very room.
Yes, right in this very room. And I remember you were, already, into your weight loss journey.
Yeah.
I think you lost a total of about 200 pounds. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Overall, 200 pounds. But when I first came into here, I was only down 90.
Got it. So about 110 more after the hard part. Yeah. So that's pretty incredible. And I know you were talking about the foods, things like that, and you seemed committed. So I knew you were gonna. Yeah. I knew it was gonna happen because you were committed. That's the hardest part about it, right? Just being committed to
100%.
it. So I was excited to work with you, and train with us for 4 years. Now you're coaching some classes, doing that stuff, and I think it's incredible, and just goes to your dedication, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I think I knew that I wanted to do it naturally. So I did go to a weight loss doctor, but this doctor is all about teaching you the right foods to eat and things like that naturally. There's no medication involved. Yeah. And, that enabled me to start to change my relationship with food. But then once I finished his program, which was 90 days, I knew the next step was going to be to start training and to start changing the composition of my body and, having somebody keeping me accountable and keep me on track. And that's what you guys did. I ended up losing like another 100 pounds, 110 pounds here. So. No,
it's incredible. And then do you mind sharing the story of like what made you start this journey or no? Because
of course.
I'd love for you to tell that story before we get into the business talk.
Yeah, no, of course. I mean, I found myself 400 pounds. Yeah. I couldn't do anything. Like I would sit on the couch. I was a shitty dad to my kids because of it. Like they would be like, "Oh, let's go out and play," and I just couldn't physically move. And I was like, "No, you know what? Daddy needs to rest." Yeah. And I would bicker with my wife constantly because I was just such in a miserable state. Yeah. And then my wife would always constantly beg me like, "Do something," and then falls on deaf ears. If you're not mentally ready to do it, you're not gonna do it.
And it's scary to take that chance and do that stuff.
Of course. So I kind of went in one ear and out the other. And then one night I was, I woke up in the middle of the night and my wife was leaning over me and she was crying. And I was like, "What's going on? Is everything okay?" And she goes, "I thought you almost just died." And I said, what do you mean? What are you talking about? She's like, "You stopped breathing for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. It was crazy." Because I had a severe sleep apnea. Yeah. As a result, I just spit across the room.
Yeah, that's all right. Thanks.
Yeah, I saw your eyes.
You have COVID right now or not?
Yeah,
what's going on?
You put this over here. But yeah, so, I, right then and there, I knew I had to make a change. Yeah. And she was, and I the next day I looked up, I found this weight loss guy and I just did it.
And that was like a defining moment for you.
100%. It changed my whole entire life. Like I was going downhill real fast. Okay. Real fast. Emotionally, physically, like just everything.
And to segue into the business talk, there's like that moment, like, that's probably one of the hardest things you could possibly do.
Yeah. So
any hard things with work or business, whatever.
Yeah. It's like if you can get your mind to consistently do that, like you can pretty much set your mind to anything and do it. So.
Cool. And then, obviously, a little background story about your work and, your job. And, so how'd you start out in the work field? What did you start doing?
Yeah. So I went to college at Oswego State University, and I declared a major in public relations just because it seemed like the easiest major to me, and I was like,
did you go to class or you?
Yeah, no, I went to class. I didn't do much in class, but I went to class because it was at the time it was mostly like writing and stuff like that, and that stuff came naturally to me. So I was like, oh, that's easy. So I ended up doing that, and I kind of liked it. So I came out of that. I got an internship at a company called Burson Marsteller, which is one of the biggest public relations firms in the world. And I ended up getting a job there after my internship, and I was there for 25 years.
And you worked your way up the ladder for sure.
Oh yeah, I worked my way up the ladder. I became the head of creative strategy for North America, and put in 25 years in the agency world.
And you worked with some big companies.
Huge companies. I mean, Fortune 500 companies, Intel, Colgate-Palmolive, you name it. We've done it in the healthcare, pharmaceutical world, brand world, B2B world. So
isn't it crazy how they put like the biggest decisions basically in your hands? Because that's like the biggest decisions of the company, how you're going to market it, right?
Of course.
What your messaging is.
I mean, you're talking. Most of the meetings that you take are with the chief marketing officer.
Did you ever feel like
why am I sitting?
Obviously,
in this room?
you're confident. Obviously, but you ever like, holy fuck, like
yeah, like I would walk out of meetings and I'd be like, why the fuck are they listening to me?
Exactly.
Like
exactly.
it's daunting when you're sitting across from a CEO or a chief marketing officer, and you're giving them advice on how to communicate to the public about their products, their services, their values, and it's a daunting task to do. But you have a team. You have a strong team that supports you, and you're working together, and a lot of smart people, and you hear what everybody has to say, and then you make the decision.
Yeah, and I think in the last year or so, you kind of made the shift personally to enjoy what you want to enjoy and do what you want to do. Correct?
100%, and it's very much what I grew up doing for the last 25 years, but it's focused now. So when you're working in a big agency like that, you have unlimited responsibilities.
Yeah.
So you got to do this, you got to do that. You got to jump through hoops. There's politics, all that stuff. And I didn't want to be in that environment anymore. Like I think I got to a point now where I was like, I just want to do the part of the job that I love.
That you love to do.
And I think the only way to really do that is to go out on your own. And that's what I did. After 25 years, I left my agency and I grabbed my partner, who was a partner at the agency with me for 25 years, and the two of us started our own business. And we've been up and running since October. And
you lost your hat, correct?
Yeah, we lost our hat.
So what is it called?
Yeah, we're called the Missing Hat Company.
Okay.
It's a long story about, it's an inside industry sort of spiel that I'll save you guys, but essentially what the company does is we are an ideas shop. So we come up with creative concepts and ideas that particularly are designed to drive news and get people talking about them. So we'll come up with a company will come to us and say, hey, we're launching a new product. We'll look at the product, we'll look at the target audience, we'll look at where they consume news, how they talk about things, and then we'll build an idea that's designed to grab their attention and get them to share it, like it, talk about it, to get news outlets to write about it. So there's an art form to that. And really it's a lost art in the industry right now, because so many agencies are trying to bring so much value to their clients, and they're wearing so many different hats. But the news driving idea hat is the one hat that's always seems to be missing right now. So that's where we got the Missing Hat Company from.
So what do you mean exactly by news driving idea? Give me an example, maybe for a gym, right? So what could be a news driving idea for a gym? I know you take your time and think about this stuff.
So just come up with something on the spot. Let me try.
No, what is the area
So a news driving idea would essentially be like, if you came to me and you said, I want to increase membership, right? One of the things that we do here to increase membership is we have a challenge. We issue a challenge, 6-week challenge, right? So my job would be like, okay, cool. You want to do a 6-week challenge. So let's take a look at how other gyms are doing the challenge. Where is that white space? And let's do it differently than every other gym, because we want to get people to start talking about it.
Yeah. Got it. No, it makes sense.
Yeah.
So day to day, what is it like? Like how are you guys getting new clients? Is it basically referral, word to mouth? Like how are you guys doing that?
So what we started out doing was, over the 25 years of agency life, we built up an incredible network.
Exactly.
Through past colleagues that have left, and communications industry is known for turnover.
Yeah.
Right. So me being in the same company for 25 years, I'm like a relic. Like that doesn't happen.
Got it.
Most people stay 3-4 years, bounce.
Got it. Okay.
So I have colleagues and friends in high up positions at many different companies. So the minute we were out on our own, we've just been reaching out to those people at first, And word of mouth starts to spread that like we're available, and that's what we've been doing.
That's a great point.
So we haven't had to
market yet.
Proactively market at this point.
I don't believe in marketing in the beginning of your business. I really don't, because much as we're a marketing agency, right? Yeah. We didn't do it for Ignite. It was just word to mouth.
Of course.
Right. If you open up a business, text everybody in your cell phone and tell them your business is there, and I'm sure you'll get some people to get going from there.
Yeah.
And then create some referrals.
And that's what it's been like now. And we have so much work right now that I can't even think
about more
trying to drive more right now. So it's a nice balance. Now obviously it's peaks and valleys.
Of course.
There's gonna
there'll be times where we'd be dead.
When we do hit that dead patch, that's when we'll do another round, and down the road I think we'll think about ways to expand that business. But right now it's two of us.
I say low overhead too.
There's no overhead
at all.
I mean, it's electricity in my house pretty much. But my partner and I are also too at the age right now where we just want to pick and choose the jobs we want to do that interest us, and that's it. Like, we're not looking to make $1 billion company. Like, I'm not doing that.
You want to have fun and make a nice income.
We want to have fun, have the freedom to do whatever the hell we want to, whenever we want to, with our families, and then make enough money that it covers the bills. And
the funny thing is, though, when you treat it that way, because you like doing what you love, it always turns into more than you expect it to be. Yeah. It does, because when you have more fun waking up and to doing what you do every day, and you're excited about it, you're just going to do a really good job, and 100%. Then it's just going to bring unexpected revenue and things to your table. So I definitely could see that happening.
Towards the tail end of my agency life, I hated my job.
Yeah,
I hated it.
I remember you telling me that.
I hated it with
you told me, you're like, I'm going to quit my job, and you have any spots with me at RAF? I'm like, no, we don't. But like, let's get you on. Let's just we don't have a spot right now, but let's just get going. And you fell in love with the fitness part too.
I loved it. Yeah.
So
I mean, I love just working with you guys, and like I mean, we're all friends. We're like it's awesome. Like it's like I love being here in the morning.
So what? Yeah. What drove you away from the agency corporate world exactly? What was it?
The politics, the constant turnover, and then having to essentially do 7 different jobs. Yeah, because that's agency life. It's all about efficiencies, right? So it's like, if I can have you do the job of these 3 people, then I'm gonna work you to the bone and make you do that, and you're miserable, right? Because it's like 2 of the 3 of those things I don't want to do. Yeah. But you got it. And I also got to a point where it was just, I was getting to a point where my job was so large, and I just didn't want that massive responsibility, and I wanted to work for myself. I wanted every single thing that I did to be mine.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so like right now, when we take on a job, my partner and I, when we think it's good, that's when we get on the phone and we sell it into the client. In the agency world, I would think something's good, and then it has to go through 27 rounds of approvals, and by the time it gets to the client, it's not even the idea that you started with.
Yeah, I would hate that. I wouldn't be able to do that.
And not to mention, too, right? Like, I will work 24/7 on an idea that we're developing now for a client, because it's a direct reflection of me.
Yeah.
My company that I started, and
you enjoy it,
and I get all the money for it.
It's true too.
Like it's that's what it is. And you didn't get that in the it didn't matter. When you're on salary there, it doesn't matter if you work 40 hours or 90 hours.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter if you bring in 5 new business accounts worth $30 million. You're not making a cent more.
There was no incentive plans at that.
None.
Really, that's crazy.
None.
Okay.
None.
That's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty shocking to me. I didn't know that. Yeah. I thought they would structure it that way for you.
It's too hard. There's too many people.
There's too much stuff going on.
Yeah, it's too many people. At any given time, like you would have, from a new business perspective, you might be doing 10, 15 new business pitches at the same time. Yeah. And
then you're really spread thin too. You can't work.
You can't think
like you want to work.
You have like the biggest part of my job is thinking, right?
So there's too much stuff going on. It's going to inhibit that.
And no one takes that.
So what did you do? How did you block your time then? You had to do it, right? So what did you do? Like you had to work on somebody, like you had like 15 jobs to do. How did you block your time? That's a big topic for a lot of entrepreneurs. Like, how do you actually like block it off and just do one thing at a time?
Yeah, I mean, fortunately for me, I had a good team. I developed a team.
Okay.
Right. And this is where good leadership comes into play, right? Like you have to be able to delegate, but you have to be able to delegate in a way that you're going to get an output that you want. Yeah. Right. So it's really taking the time to train your team as best as you possibly can so that it allows you to take a step back and say, okay, I'm going to focus on this one project. You guys reporting to me on the other 5 that are going on. Here's what I want from you. Here's what I want to see from you. And then now you're making decisions versus rolling up your sleeves and actually doing all the work. And it's not easy, especially in a small business. It's not an easy thing to you might have a team of 3 people, if you're lucky.
You hit it on the head though. Like, here's what I want from you. Yeah. Something that doesn't get, pushed correctly to staff in a lot of small businesses. Like, you expect people to do things, and I was, guilty of this, and still am in certain instances. But be clear in your message of what you expect, and then it will come back to you. But if you're not clear on what you want, how can you expect other people to do what you want? Right?
Yeah, it's like you set the tone, then you have to empower them to deliver on it. Right? So what I try to do when I was leading my teams was, I would never speak first, ever. When it came to start a meeting, when it came to giving feedback on something, I would never, because the minute you as the leader speaks, everybody else feels like I have to agree with him.
Yeah.
It's not right. You gotta you empower them to let them talk first. You hear everything in the room, and then you comment on it, right? So it's like, it's set the tone, empower people to to do that job, and then reward them when they're doing a great job. Even a simple accolade goes a long way, right? Yeah. It doesn't have to be monetary. Just like, hey, listen, last week you crushed that project, dude. Crushed it. I couldn't have asked for a better turnout. Like, that goes a long way.
No, that's very true. What's the next steps for you guys? What are you guys looking to accomplish this year? Any set goals or clients? Any projects, milestones? What are you guys looking to do?
Yeah, I think we're the first thing we wanted to do was we wanted to get a cornerstone client. Somebody that's going to give us consistent work.
You need that,
month
right?
after month after month, and then everything else is kind of icing on the cake. We were fortunate enough to find that right off the bat.
Okay.
So now it's just like, to me, I want to have a consistent, 2 or 3 jobs a month.
Got it.
And I think if my client and I feel like if we can do that, then we'll have a fantastic work-life balance. We'll make the money we want to make, and that's it. So I think.
Would you ever want to scale it out, or no? You don't really want to, because you don't want to have the headaches and all that stuff.
I'm gonna be 50. I'm looking at retirement soon, hopefully. So I don't feel like I want to start something
just bits and pieces
that big. I want to make the money that I need to make for my family. My partner's in the same boat, and I want to work hard as hell for the jobs that we decide to take. But I don't want to be forced to work on stuff that I don't want to work on when I don't want to work on it.
Got it.
So,
what advice would you give somebody, maybe they're, in their 30s, 40s, 50s, doesn't matter. Yeah. They're in a corporate job. They've been there for a while, but they want to branch out on their own, but they're scared of stability not being there, and they're scared of, losing that income that they have right now. And they're just scared to go on their own and just start for themselves. So what advice would you give somebody in any field looking to branch out?
I would say, don't be afraid to bet on yourself. Like if you really truly believe that you have talent and expertise to deliver on something, just take the leap. Okay, take the leap. I was
have a plan first, or just kind of do it and figure it out.
I think you have to have somewhat of a plan. Like you have to kind of have a vision for what you want to do. But I took the leap last April, and it was scary. 100% it's scary, but there's a lot of work to be had out there, freelance wise, or if you want to start a business and things like that. Like, people need things, and there's a lot of work out there. And if you market yourself the right way, and you message yourself the right way, and you find that niche in the marketplace, good things will happen. And that's kind of what we did. And you were one of the biggest people that taught me that. Right? Like, every single step of the way when I started working here and coaching here with you, right? Yeah. I was like, well, I don't really know how to do this. You're like, who cares? Jump in, do it. Yeah. Jump in and do it. Not you're not saying who cares like flippantly. You're saying like, take the leap, figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's the biggest. People want to like wait till they have everything perfectly in place, and it's not possible.
Yeah.
You do that, you're going to be waiting years and years and years, right? Like, so it's have a good sense, have an idea of what you want to do, have the courage to do it, and then work. Go to work.
And then make adjustments, right?
Make adjustments along the way. Like you learn. Like I never started a business before. Like I'm in the process now of finalizing my S corporation rating and all that. Like that stuff was so foreign to me.
Exactly. Yeah. But you
learn it.
Yeah, you learn it. It is what it is.
You know, and especially when you're doing something for yourself, you take a pride in it. You want to learn it, right? Like I don't want to not. I want to know every in and out of what my business is doing.
Exactly.
Same with you, right?
And nothing's ever going to be perfect. And I think all my staff knows that too. Like you go out there and make a move, like just do it. We'll figure it out afterwards.
Right.
I don't care about mistakes ever.
No.
I really don't. And I never really did. You got to be a little bit, callous minded, I guess, and like be able to be tough with, like stuff is going to go wrong. There's a lot of errors in your day. And for me, for sure, there's so many errors throughout my day. Yeah. But it's like you have to be level-headed and just keep on path because that's the only way you will survive if you are on your own. If you're not like that, I think it's not your best move.
Well, I think mistakes are the only way you really learn.
Yeah.
Right? And then and also, creating a culture within your team that it's okay to make a mistake.
Exactly.
Is critical.
I try to do that as much as possible.
Yeah.
I think some people still are scared to make mistakes, and mistakes are fine. It's the way we are going to learn. But mistakes could crumble people too. So that's why, especially if you're the owner, right? You have to be able to know that you put your best effort in, and maybe you made a mistake, but how can you get better from that and move on and move forward?
How do you learn? How do you learn from it? How do you have a conversation with your team about, and that's the other thing too, right? Like you being able to admit as the leader that you made a mistake.
Yeah.
And being forthcoming with your team and saying, hey guys, I messed up yesterday. Here's what I should have done. Here's what I learned from that.
Yeah.
Right? And now let's everybody take that lesson into account so we don't make that mistake again. But, being able to be vulnerable like that as a leader and being able to say to your, team, like, I messed up too. Yeah. I think it's important. It sets the tone for the culture of the team.
It's huge.
Yeah,
it's huge.
Absolutely.
Well, I appreciate you coming on, Jay.
Of course, man.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.